Hey guys, it's Will. Welcome to the channel. I'm a part-time day trader trying to become a full-time. We are in the last week of April. It only shows up to Wednesday, which is the 30th. Technically, the week goes up to the May 2nd because that is a full week. It is Thursday right now, and we do have one more trading day tomorrow. Today on Thursday, it's still early. It's still like 10:42. And I do not really see anything in the market right now, but I'll look at the market later. I don't see my setup in the market right now, but I'm going to go to the trade that I took this week, which was the only trade I took. And that is on Wednesday, which was yesterday. I took only one trade. Right now it is a privacy filter. I am going to go to change it to dollar amount, and I'm almost up 24 bucks. My trade win percentage is 100%. My day win percentage is 100%. I only took one trade, so that is why I'm up 100%. So this trade was 27%. I traded the Qs and it was a short position over here. My entries and exits was 950 and my exit was 957, so about a 7-minute scalp. I normally trade around this time. Honestly, I normally trade around, let's say around 10 o'clock, but it really depends. Sometimes it can be earlier, sometimes it could be 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, but it just really depends on the day. It really depends on the setup. If the setup is there, then I take it. It doesn't really matter what time it is, but I feel like I normally take trades around 10 o'clock. I was down a maximum of $8. Sometimes it's not super accurate, but it'll be accurate when you see the trade review live. Then you can see the actual dollar amount that was up and down. And obviously when you sell, the bid and ask is gonna be a little different, and I might actually lose more. I was up $26, but because of commissions, that's why I'm like up $24. Maximum, I was up $32. I'm gonna play the live trade now, and then I'll break down the trade. Here's the 30-minute on the Qs. If you remember, I traded off the 465, and once that broke right here, I traded it for a retest short, and that's what I did into the next demand zone. I definitely wanted to hold it more, but I was very cautious on this specific day. It's because there was data coming out at 10, and I literally sold just before 10. I got this 465 level from the previous couple days, and it is a major level in the market. As you see, the past couple days, this was I believe April 24th. It has holds on the 465 in pre-market and the day of 465. General arrows around here 465, and that was a low. So once it broke, I did a retest short. I of course look at the other markets as well and make sure they all align together. Showing you guys the SPY right now. It's the exact same thing on the SPY. The high of the SPY was 544 and 545, which was around this area. I had general holds around that area as well, and there. That's why it was a range of $1. Once it did break down, I made sure that I got a proper retest, and then I took my short position off there. I use the 30 minutes to chart, and I also use the bigger time frames, but when I actually trade, I use the 2-minute charts, and that's where I get my entries. You can see once it breaks down the 465 on the Qs, the SPY, it broke down this general area of the 544 and 545, and the ES as well, it aligns, and the NASDAQ as well. I do have this potential demand zone on the NASDAQ, which is right here, which was the wick high of the previous week was 19,142. But I knew that the market would be weak if it did break these lows. I just have it there, and we can see general holds around there. So it could possibly scare you out, but it's a small hold. And I know that once it started rejecting this level right here, which was the levels that align with these levels right here on the market, that's when I knew that there could be more downside. My strategy is to break and retest. It breaks down a key level that I have charted, and I wait for the retest. I don't chase it all the way down here. I wait for it to come back up, slowly slide up, and once you start seeing it retest exactly at that level, and it was exact. I had my risk around 50 cents, and then I took my short position off there, and I got off right at the next demand zone, which was 462. It wasn't exactly at 462, but I was looking at the other markets. I saw the demand zone right at the ES level right here, and I wanted to respect it. It was also data coming out at 10, and once it did come out, you can see this crazy ass volume right here, and that would just have blown me out. My whole position will just be negative at that point because the volatility will affect my position, and I'll just get out right away. Probably would have got scared, and I would have lost a lot if I actually held through here, because that is a crazy amount. At first, when I got into this position, I was gonna give my risk at 465. The SPY and the ES could potentially hold or go up back a little higher, and I was thinking of holding there. But then once I saw my P&L, it was starting to go to like negative 10% already, and I was only risking 50 cents. So if I give it that space, if I give it the space of the SPY, I'll be risking like probably negative 50% or something. It was a bit too much, and that's why I just gave it my space of the Qs. One thing to note also, when I was looking at the options, the volatility, which was the IV percentage, that was like above 40%, which is crazy. I used to trade around 10% or maybe 15% of IV, but now it's like the volume of the market is just going crazy. So that means when I trade, I'm getting deltas of 0.2 or under, which is really shit. It's really bad to get those deltas, because if there's no real move in the market, then you're not gonna make a lot of money. When the trade is going in your favor, you're not getting as much money. But once it goes against you, then you start losing money really quickly. And that's sort of annoying. It really does suck. But if I got in the money contracts, that would be about $200, $250. And then let's say I lost 20%, I'll be losing already like 60 bucks, 80 bucks, something pretty big. So that's why I can't get those right now. I'm not in that position to scale up that much, and eventually in the future I would have to, right? I want to scale up more, but for now I'm only risking I'm only buying contracts that are around like 70 bucks to like 90 bucks. 200 bucks is like triple my size right now. Going back to the main screen on the Wednesday trade, I did take the 458 put on the Qs, and let's see the volume right now. Let's see the trade. When I shorted the Qs, it was at 465, right? The contract I did choose was 458, but the price of the Qs was currently at 465. That would basically mean I need about 7 points for me to actually make my contracts in the money, and that's why my delta is really bad, because I really need a strong move for it to go to 458. It's very unlikely for it to break that low. That's why the delta is really bad, and that's why it's better to be in the money, is because if let's say I chose the 462 put right here, and I actually made that happen, then my percentage and my money will be a lot more, right? I do also want to break down Monday, which was the April 28th, and there was a really good downside. There was an A+ downside that I didn't take, and I did make a full video on it if you guys want to check out my previous video. It was A+ setup, but I did not take it. I was saying to myself that it looks A+, but it's not really a trade that I would normally take. So I don't want to take it. I just want to be patient and watch it. If it does work out, I'll be like somewhat mad, obviously, because I didn't take the trade. But the real reason is because I want to learn from it and just not really worry about the trade if it didn't work at all, right? These are my levels on the April 28th. The big rejection of the market was this NASDAQ level right here, which was 19,600. And that's where the whole thing stemmed from. That's where the rejection stemmed from. And also this level on the ES right here, which is 55.63. And once it broke down the level, that was a really good rejection. But normally I like to play break and retests. I like to see intraday break and retests. My zone would be this zone right here, and I would mainly like to short it only if it breaks down this zone right here, which were the double bottom lows of these levels right here, and then the high of that. So if it did break that down, then I would like to short it. That would be my main short that I would want to take. I could obviously short this right here as well, but it really depends on what the market is showing me. But I'm going to go to the 2-minute chart and show you guys that we can see that the 19,600 right here, that's where it rejected. I don't take it off like that because it's pretty early, and it's just too early for me to trade when I don't really see a retest off that level. Even though it doesn't really give you a proper retest here, it was rejecting the big level of the ES, which was 55.63, and it kept rejecting right here and did really good retests, but I did not take the level. Even in the SPY, it rejected really nicely, and that was the A+ setup of the day, and it went to the exact demand zones on the other market right there, and also the NASDAQ, the Qs, the SPY. It was really far, but it got really close to it. and it was a really good trade, but I just didn't take it. I just wanted to be patient and just watch how it went, and it was a lot of gains. You can see that it went down, it got back up. Maybe I'll have got scared and got out, but who really knows, because I never got into the trade. But if I did get into the trade, then yes, it will be around this area right here. I would have been happy once it started going down, but once it started sliding back up, I would have been scared, and that would be playing a lot of games in my head. But it did work out in the end. But that trade was about probably, let's say, almost 2 hours. Sometimes I'm not able to stay that long, so that's the problem about that. Today is currently Thursday. I'm going to show you guys just a little bit of what the market is doing right now. I'm going to go in the bigger time frame because you can't really see anything right here. I'm going to go to the Nasdaq actually and just show you guys the bigger picture of the market, and we can see that the market is actually going up. It finally actually broke that 19,600 I was telling you about, and we are in an uptrend now, and that's why the market is going up. I'm not really interested in taking any longs right now. Market is in an extended area. I want to like at least pull back into one of these demand zones, and then I can probably take it for a long. My strategy for today was either that pullback long. Those are not really my A+ setups, and I haven't actually took any longs for the last 2 months, so it is kind of scary to take longs. I haven't really practiced longs, and I'm more better with shorts. So that's why I'm very cautious of taking any longs. And I probably missed about 2 longs in probably the last 2 months, or maybe a bit more, but I just didn't take any of them because I'm not as confident in taking longs right now. I was going to try to short this level right here once it broke down these small demand zones right here. And because since the market did go straight up like this, I was waiting for it to like break down this small shelf over here and then play a retest into this demand zone and get it right there. And that could have been a nice short. And then I can also play a break and retest long on these levels, but I don't do that because I'm gonna go to the 2-minute time frames, and it is pretty choppy on all the markets. I like it to all align, right? So if it's not all aligning, I'm not really confident in taking a trade. And I could definitely just look at one market or 2 markets, but I like it to all align. That's my strategy, to be honest. I do trade off the Qs and the SPYs. So when I trade, I actually look at the Q and the SPY only. So whatever my risk is based off the Qs and the SPY. So since the market is not aligning, it's very different. It just really looks very choppy for me, at least. And that's why I'm not taking any trades today. It is only 11 a.m. right now, but I would only take a trade if it breaks down this low right here. But I don't think that will happen anytime soon, but it could eventually happen. So again, we are up $23.88 for this week, and we'll see if I take any trades today or tomorrow. But if I don't, then this will be the week. I'm happy that I'm up this week. I'm not really taking as much trades as I want to. I'm only taking 1 trade, but as long as I'm green, as long as I'm able to stay patient, stay disciplined, and keep being consistent, 1 trade is not really going to kill me. Obviously, taking more than 1 trade will be nice because I have more chances, but then that can also mean me losing more if I'm just not being patient and not being disciplined with my setups, right? And what I like to say is, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Keep staying consistent, keep staying disciplined, and let's just get 1% better every day, and I'll see you in the next one.